Hello, hello! Welcome back to Brenda's Books. Thank you so much for coming back to listen to more of Sara's War. If you are enjoying this story, I would love it if you did me a quick favor and wrote me a review anywhere you find me online. Whether that's a podcast review or an Amazon review for Sara's War or a Goodreads review, wherever you'd like, I would love, love, love it so much. Anyway, today we are on Chapter 49. Here we go. Chapter 49. Come on, Miss America. What did the Colonel just say to you? Nate asks. Nothing. So, the absence of words also makes you blush, Nate says. I shrug. Yes? Nate laughs at that. Actually, with you, I'm not surprised. Nice going getting kicked out, Doc, says Lexi. I would tell you I told you so, but I promised Jack I wouldn't give you a guilt trip. That's reassuring, Lexi. Thanks. Lexi slaps me on the back. What are friends for? Then she bites her lip. But really, are you going to be okay? I think, eventually, I reply. Lexi grimaces, letting out a slow growl. I really wish you would have just spilled your guts to me on the bus. I could have helped you. Nate elbows Lexi. It's not always that easy, he says, flashing me a sympathetic look. I know, I'm sorry, Lexi mumbles. It's okay, I say with a shrug. You're right. I don't know what my face looks like, but when Lexi sees it, she changes tactics. She places her hands on my shoulders and shakes them a bit. Hey, don't fret, Doc. You're going to make it. You're one of those silent, strong types. I have no idea what that means, I admit. It means you'll be fine. It also means you're not annoying like Lexi and me, Nate offers, earning him a backhanded slap in the chest from Lexi. Hey, speak for yourself, she whines. Nate grins. But seriously, Sara, everybody's got a breakdown on their record. I mean, look at Nate here. He's got... Lexi starts counting with her fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nate just stares at her like he's half annoyed, half amused as she continues. 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, out of fingers. Nobody knows anymore, and nobody cares. They're all just mixed up in a bunch of papers. Good stuff, bad stuff. In the end, all anyone cares about is kicking the enemy's butt. Lexi finishes with another backhanded slap to her palm. What she means by that, Nate offers, is you're a rock star, and everyone will forgive you for anything. No, that is not... Lexi stops short after a dramatic roll of her head. Actually, that's about right. Yeah. Then she offers me her biggest grin. I can't help but chuckle at my friend's attempts to make me feel better. And the funny thing is, it did. Not entirely, not even close, but enough for now. I open my arms wide. I love you guys. Lexi and Nate both step in for a gigantic group hug, each of them squeezing hard. Okay, I can't breathe anymore, I squeak. But I love group hugs, Nate says, squeezing harder. Nate, let go, Lexi shouts. Nate steps back. Buzzkill much, he mumbles, just as Lexi's phone starts buzzing. Lexi snatches the phone off her belt and walks a few steps away. Lieutenant? She switches to complete formal business mode. She does that a lot, Nate says, pointing to Lexi with his thumb, especially when she tries to hide how much she wants me. Lexi slides her phone away from her mouth and points a finger at him. In your dreams. Nate smirks, but I can tell he's hurt by it too. That's right, I forgot. My boss here's got the hots for the captain. Lexi slides her phone back again. Who doesn't? Nate leans forward and points all his fingertips to his chest. I'm hot too. Lexi rolls her eyes and continues with her phone conversation. Nate sighs. So, Sara, since you're considered like poison to your patients and can't treat anyone today, do you want to hang out with me? Boss lady gave me a few hours off. He points his head in Lexi's direction. Lexi turns to face me, giving me a thumbs up. 1 minute, Lieutenant, she says. She jogs over to me and gives me a hug. Bye, Sara. Good luck. I'll see you again, I know it. Bye, Lexi. Thank you. She resumes her phone conversation as she waves to Nate and me and walks quickly in the direction of the idle choppers in the distance. Nate rubs his palms together like he's planning a scheme. So, what do we do with a doctor who's in perfect physical condition but mentally sick as a say-well? You're comparing me to an endangered species? No, just your mental health. Nate steps toward me. You, Sara, are going to have an adventure today. With me. He points a finger at my face. And you're not getting out of it until you laugh your head off at least 1,000,000 times. Even you don't know that many jokes, I say. I wouldn't be so sure. Joke number 1. What do you call a cow with no legs? No idea. Ground beef. Joke number 2. Okay. Do you have a plan B for this adventure? Plan B is exercise, Nate says. Then he grabs my hand and pulls me along as he starts to run. Come on, Miss America. The only worry you have now is to beat me in a race. That's never been a worry of mine. Oh ho ho, Nate cries. Gotten a little cocky, have we? We'll see about that. No, that's not what I mean, I say, dropping his hand and coming to a halt. I don't want to race you. Nobody wants to race me. I'm the best. But I do know that you want to race your blues away. I roll my eyes. That's not how the phrase goes. Oh, it's not? Nate cocks his head with feigned confusion. Is it race your reds away? Greens, maybe? You're hilarious, I mutter. Come on, Miss America. It's either a race or more jokes. You pick. I groan and sit down on the dirt and lean against a tree. Nate puts his hands on his hips, peering down at me like he can't believe I just sat on the ground. Jokes it is. Number 2. What do you call a cow with 3 legs? Lean beef. Number 3. What do you call a cow jumping over a fence? He lifts a finger. Wait for it. Utter destruction. He laughs at that, then points one long arm in my direction. I almost got a smile, making progress. Number 4. Oh, good grief, I exclaim, standing up and brushing myself off. Fine, I'll race you. To that puny little tree 30 yards ahead. You got it, to the puny little tree. On your mark, get set, go! I sprint as fast as I can, lengthening my stride as much as possible and swinging my arms to help with momentum. Nate quickly edges ahead of me. Blast him. He knows I hate losing. My adrenaline kicks in and I move faster. But Nate is still a few steps ahead of me when we reach the puny tree. Ah ha ha! Nate cries, raising his arms high in the air. Victory is mine! I shove him slightly, my heart and breathing still rapid. You didn't have as many rocks and roots to jump over. All right, let's switch sides and race back. On your mark, get set, go! I push with all my might this time. Nate jumps over rocks with a dramatic flair, but he still beats me, and I have to endure his gleeful woot-woots. Jeez, I say, putting my hands on my knees and leaning forward as I catch my breath. I forgot how fast you are. Nate laughs a little breathless. It's the one thing you could never beat me at. I glance up at him. There were plenty of others, Nate. He removes his cap and runs a hand over his head before replacing it. Name 1. Car racing, hurdling, not to mention all that theater you did. You were great on stage. Nate grins, putting his hands on his hips. You forgot tennis. I laugh out loud. Oh, I was so bad at that. That doesn't count. It wasn't a competition. I could barely hit the ball over the net. Nate laughs too. You were hilarious. Finally, our laughs subside. I needed this, Nate. Thanks. Nate smiles and nods. He stares at me in a way I've long forgotten. I'm ready for more, I say. Nate's eyebrows shoot up. More? More running. Like how about up that hill? I point to the long, dry, weedy hillside to our right. Nate shakes his head. The enemy will see us up there. We better keep it down here through the trees. All right, but this time let's go until we're done. Nate slides his palms across each other with one quick motion. Until we're done. Let's go, Miss America. Why do you call me that? I ask, as we begin jogging side by side. I'm not sure, 'cause you're pretty, I guess. I don't know how long we run, in and out of the trees and through the grass and over rocks and weeds and leaves, but I love the fresh air wisping over my face, and the earthy smell of the redwoods, and the sound of Nate and me breathing almost in unison. Eventually Nate stops, grasping his side like he's in pain. I halt next to him. You all right? Oh yeah, Nate wheezes. I just forgot how long you can run. Holy moly, Sara. He collapses on his back in a large pile of leaves, his arms and legs in a spread eagle. I'm sorry, I pant, sitting next to him. Don't be sorry, he says, closing his eyes. Exercise is good for your mental health. I wanted to help you with that. Well, I do feel like I can take on the world now. Nate opens one eye. Really? I smile and shake my head. No. Nate smiles sadly and sits up. Do you feel better, though? I nod. Definitely. I always feel good after a run. It's like my heart's thanking me. Nate lets out a breathless laugh. Your heart must like torturing mine. He lies back down, and both of us take a minute to slow our breathing. I scoot back a few shuffles and find another tree trunk to lean against. By the way, I'm sorry about Lexi, I tell him. Nate sits up just enough to give me one surprised look before falling backward again. The leaves underneath him crunch in protest. He takes a handful and tosses it in the air, causing the leaves to slowly twirl downward. It's not like it's the first time a girl hasn't liked me back. Still, it's no fun. Nate turns his head on the ground to look at me. What would you know about that? He asks with a smile. You always had guys crawling all over you. Even when we were dating, some didn't give up. I point a finger at him. Hey, Stockton Shoemaker, 9th grade. He didn't like me back. That's because you picked a guy with a weird name. I crack a smile, and Nate does too, as he shifts his head to look at the sky. Thanks, though, he says. You've always been an observant one. Then he sits up slowly. Hey, Sara, there's something I gotta tell you. When I heard you were leaving, I knew I had to do it because... He scratches his head. Well, let's be honest, I might not see you again. My heart sinks at that thought. I might not see anyone I care about here again. Did your colonel boyfriend tell you why I was so beat up? That day you had to give me stitches? He's not my boyfriend, Nate. And no, he didn't tell me. He said he should leave that to you. Nate scratches his head again. That's very honorable of him. I thought so, I agree. Nate crosses his legs and cocks his head. He's really not your boyfriend? Because he wants to be. Doesn't he ever do anything to show you that? My cheeks get hot as I think of what Jack did for me last night, as well as his kind words to me this afternoon. Nate nods. I'll take that as a yes. What's the problem then? Do you really not like him? I thought we were talking about why you needed stitches. Nate releases a breath. Right. He fluffs some leaves up a few times before he continues. You'll probably think worse of me. Just tell me, Nate. He inhales deeply. Remember those criminals the colonel caught when we were in Eagle, he says, still keeping his eyes on the leaves he's fluffing up. Yes, I had to treat a couple of them. Do you know what their crimes were? I shake my head. Rape, says Nate. Well, it's a good thing they're gone then. Nate glances over at me and nods. They also beat up a few soldiers, including me. I frown. I'm sorry, Nate. Did you make them mad or something? Nate shakes his head. No, just greedy. I furrow my brow. What does that mean? Nate rubs his eyes and then his face all the way down to his chin. This is going to be hard to explain, but remember the ball when you dazzled everyone on the floor? As did you. Nate laughs once and shakes his head. And remember how good you looked? I roll my eyes. What are you getting at, Nate? Nate takes a deep breath again. Well, we all went to the creek while you were off somewhere else with your boyfriend. I sigh heavily. Sorry, Nate says, lifting up his hands. With the lieutenant colonel. Well, we stole some booze from the ball to take with us, and a lot of us were drinking and talking, and I was too. About you. I feel an involuntary glare cross my face. He points a finger at me. I deserve that. Anyway, those two guys were there, and they asked me to show them who you were the next day. Of course I refused, so they beat me up until I finally gave in. And the next day, when we were loading up the buses, I pointed you out to them, but they told me I had to insult you publicly or they would beat me up again. So that's why I said what I said. And that's why you hid your face with that hat of yours, because you were all black and blue, I assume. Nate nods again. Then I found out just how bad those guys really were when we were camped out at Eagle. By this point, the colonel knew about their crimes, but he didn't know who they were, which is why he had guards everywhere. I was on my way to tell the colonel, but they found me and beat me up again. And they did it a third time in the morning just for fun. I let out a deep sigh. I'm really sorry that happened to you, Nate. It's just awful. But there had to have been a way for you to tell some authority who could have brought it to the colonel sooner. They might have even been able to help you. I know, says Nate, but I was too scared. That's why the colonel was so mad at me. Do you remember that? Yes, I remember, Nate, and I don't blame him, I say, with some defiance. Nate shakes his head just a little bit. I don't either. What if something had happened to someone that night? I ask, incredulous. Nothing happened. There were too many guards around. But it could have happened. I know, Nate exclaims, a sob suddenly bursting out of his throat. Quickly, he covers his mouth and tries to calm himself. I'm so sorry, Sara, he cries, shaking his head. I'm so sorry. All I can do is stare at him. But at the same time, I want to reach out and comfort him. Once I realized this was my last chance to tell you the truth, I had to do it. So there it is, he says, wiping his eyes. I bite my lip, trying to think of what I should say. Well, you've told the truth and said you were sorry. I guess that's all you can do. I would understand if you were to hate me forever, Nate sniffs, as he fidgets with some leaves in between his fingers. I take a deep breath and slowly let it out. I don't hate you. I don't have enough energy for that. Nate wipes his eyes again. I hope that thing you have with the colonel works out, he says. You deserve someone with, integrity? Nate drops his head low. Yeah. Everybody makes mistakes. You have it in you too, I tell him, knocking my foot with his. You just have to find it and bring it out. In fact, what you did for me today was really, really nice. That's a great start. Nate looks back up at me with a sense of confused awe in his expression. You are amazing. I smile half-heartedly. He stands up then, brushing the leaves off his backside and shoulders and arms. You really don't hate me? I shrug. I can't do it. He reaches out a hand and pulls me up. He takes his cap off and rubs a hand over his head. I don't know what to say. Say we're friends. I hated it when I thought we weren't. Nate's lips curl up, his eyes gleaming. We're friends forever, remember? Should I give you a bracelet that says that? I smirk. How about just a hug? Nate grins and spins me around in a tight bear hug. Then he gently sets me on my feet and whispers in my ear. Thank you, Sara. And that concludes chapter 49. I hope you're enjoying Sara's War. I hope you come back next Thursday for chapter 50, which is called A Better Person. If you want to find out more about Brenda's books, you can visit brendasbooks.net. Until next time, take care.